The fire was still burning, food still cooking, boots still outside the tent. But the family of 5 who made that camp was gone. No tracks leading out, no signs of struggle, just gone. Like the forest simply swallowed them whole. And to this day, not one person who investigated what happened in those woods has ever been able to explain it. Not one. Every story you are about to hear was investigated by authorities, rangers, police. Search and rescue teams across 4 different countries filed real reports about what happened in these forests. None of them were ever officially explained. Not one. These aren't campfire legends. These aren't internet creepypasta. These are documented accounts from hikers, hunters, and campers who went into forests and came out changed, or didn't come out at all. The wilderness is the last place on Earth where something can happen and nobody sees it. Nobody, except whoever was already there. 4 stories, all documented, none explained. Let's go in. It was a summer camping trip. Father, mother, 3 children aged 7, 11, and 14. A campsite they had used every single year for the past decade. Familiar ground, safe ground. They arrived Friday evening. By Saturday midnight, they were gone. The campsite ranger doing early morning rounds found the fire still burning at 5 a.m. Breakfast preparation already started on the camp stove. The father's hiking boots placed neatly outside the family tent, the way he always left them. All 3 children's sleeping bags were still warm. The search lasted 11 days. On day 4, they found the mother. She was sitting at the base of a tree 7 miles from camp, upright, eyes open, completely unresponsive. She had been there long enough that birds had begun nesting in her hair. She recovered physically within a week. Mentally, she never fully came back. In the only coherent statement she ever gave investigators, she said 3 things. 1. Something came to the edge of their camp around midnight and stood there watching them. 2. Her husband went to investigate and didn't come back. 3. She took the children and ran in the opposite direction. After that, her memory simply stops, like a tape that was cut. The father and 3 children were found together on day 9 in a dried riverbed 11 miles from camp, in the opposite direction from the mother. The father had no memory of the trip at all. None. Not the drive up. Not setting up camp. Nothing after Thursday morning. The children remembered everything. But Child Services sealed their testimony immediately. It has never been made public. The only thing that leaked, through a retired investigator who spoke anonymously to a wilderness podcast 3 years ago, was that all 3 children drew the same thing when asked to show investigators what they saw. The drawings were identical. Same shape, same height, same position at the edge of the tree line. 3 children, separated, questioned individually. Same drawing, every time. No official explanation has ever been given. The case remains open. That was only the first case. The second one is worse. She was an experienced ultra-marathon runner. 50-mile races, mountain trails, solo runs at 4 a.m. in complete darkness. She had done it hundreds of times. She knew the difference between fear and instinct. This was instinct. She was 8 miles into a solo trail run in the Blue Ridge Mountains when she became aware of something running parallel to her in the trees. Not behind her, beside her, matching her pace exactly. She slowed down, it slowed down. She sped up, it sped up. She stopped completely. Total silence. The moment she started running again, she could hear it moving beside her in the undergrowth. She made a decision that she credits with saving her life. She stopped, turned to face the trees directly, and screamed at the top of her voice. Complete silence for 4 seconds. Then, from deep in the trees, Something screamed back. She said it started as a near-perfect imitation of her scream. Same pitch, same duration, same breath pattern at the end. Then it changed into something she has never been able to describe accurately. She has tried in multiple interviews. She always stops at the same point and says the same thing. It wasn't angry. It wasn't scared. It sounded like it was learning. She ran the remaining 8 miles back to her car without stopping. She has never run a trail alone since. She still runs ultras, still wins races. But she has one rule now that she tells every runner she coaches. If something in the woods matches your pace, don't stop. Don't look. Don't scream. Just run. No wildlife expert has ever identified what animal could mimic a human scream with that level of accuracy. No explanation has ever been given. 2 stories down, 2 to go. But before we continue, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. At Black Whisper, we go deeper into the dark than most channels dare. Because the next story involves something that left no tracks in fresh snow. And the one after that shouldn't be possible. This account was submitted to a wilderness survival forum by a man who spent 3 nights alone in a remote hunting cabin in northern Montana. No electricity, no running water, oil lamp, wood stove, 1 door, 2 windows. First night, uneventful. Second night, he woke at 2 a.m. to the sound of someone walking on the cabin roof. Slow, deliberate, measured steps moving from one end to the other and back again. He lay completely still for 40 minutes, listening to it pace above him. Then it stopped directly above where he was lying, and stayed there. He did not sleep again that night. Third night, nothing on the roof. But at 3 a.m. he woke to a different sound. Breathing, just outside the cabin door. Long, slow inhales. Long, slow exhales. Completely calm, completely steady. He picked up his rifle, positioned himself against the wall beside the door, and listened to something breathe on the other side of that door for 1 hour and 40 minutes. Then silence. Then, very quietly, 3 knocks. He did not open the door. At dawn, he looked outside. The snow around the cabin was completely undisturbed. No tracks, no marks, no sign that anything had been there at all. Just 3 small indentations in the wood on the outside of the door, like fingers, but spaced too far apart to be human. He reported it to the local ranger station. The ranger who took his report went quiet when he described the finger spacing, then said, "You're not the first person to report that from that cabin." He never asked who the others were. He didn't want to know. The ranger station has never officially commented on what has been reported from that location. No explanation has ever been given. 3 stories, 3 investigations, 3 things that should have an explanation. But this last one shouldn't be possible. This is the account of a geologist working alone in a remote forested region of British Columbia. Professional, methodical, the kind of person who documents everything and trusts nothing he can't measure. He kept detailed field notes. Those notes are what make this story impossible to dismiss. Day 1 through 6, standard geological survey. Rock samples, elevation data, soil composition, clean professional entries. Day 7, the first anomaly. He noted in his field journal that he had been hearing what he described as subsonic rhythmic percussion in the forest around his camp. Not an animal sound, not wind, a pattern, repeating every 40 seconds with mechanical consistency. He tried to record it. His equipment picked up nothing, but he could feel it in his chest. Day 8, he noted that the forest had gone completely silent. No birds, no insects, no wind movement in the trees. He wrote, "The silence here is not natural. Natural silence still has texture. This has none. This is the silence of something holding its breath. Day 9. The entry that researchers who later reviewed his notes found most disturbing. He wrote that he had found a series of markers in the forest. Trees with the bark removed in identical patterns, at identical heights, in a perfect circle around his campsite. The circle had a diameter of exactly 100 meters. He measured it 3 times. He had not noticed the markers before day 9. But based on the weathering of the exposed wood, they had been there for weeks. Something had marked his campsite before he arrived. It knew he was coming. Day 10. The final entry. 4 words. It has a face. He was airlifted out the following morning after triggering his emergency beacon at 3 a.m. He gave a full debrief to his company. That debrief is classified as internal proprietary documentation. He resigned from fieldwork permanently 2 weeks later. He now works a desk job in Vancouver. He has given one public statement in the years since. A journalist asked him what he saw on day 10. He said, "I've spent my entire career measuring things, classifying things, making the unknown known." He paused for a long time, then said, "Some things in this world do not want to be classified, and they are very good at making sure they aren't." He walked away, and has never spoken about it again. The forest he surveyed was quietly closed to researchers the following year. The official reason cited: environmental preservation. No further explanation was given. No further explanation was needed. And to this day, what he saw on day 10 remains completely unexplained. Just like every story you heard tonight. 4 forests, 4 investigations, 4 sets of people who went in and came out as something else entirely. Or didn't come out at all. The woods have always been watching, long before we started walking into them. Long before we started putting up trail cameras and filing ranger reports and trying to explain what cannot be explained. Something out there is older than our fear of it, and it is patient. If these stories kept something awake inside you, if you felt something shift while you were listening, then you already know the woods are not empty. They never were. More stories are waiting for you right now. Click the link below, step back into the dark, and find out what else has been documented in the places humans were never meant to go. Subscribe to Black Whisper. Turn on notifications, because in the dark, something always whispers.